Welcome to Ride the Wave, hosted by me, Jeff Fisher, and co-hosted by Mark Robinson, in partnership with the Ride the Wave Foundation. Visit us at ridethewave.org, where we're dedicated to empowering their lives through free resources in servant leadership, mental health wellness, and how to find a purpose. At Ride the Wave, we believe in the power of every story, talent, and voice. Our commitment is clear: to bridge divides, unite communities, and build an all-inclusive, modern campus for those experiencing homelessness. So let's dive in and ride the wave of positive change together. Hey, what's happening, everybody? Jeff Fisher at Ride the Wave podcast, and with me, as usual, Mark Robinson. What's happening, buddy?
What's going on, Jeff? How are you?
Not too much. Glad Javon is back. That's right. We got Javon Blue with us again.
Let's go.
Well, what's up, Javon?
Hey.
How you doing? So this episode of Ride the Wave is brought to you by our sponsors, 100% Chiropractic, located in Rockaway Mall in New Jersey. Personally, I trust Dr. Sarah and Dr. Matt with my care. They've transformed how I feel after dealing with recurring shoulder and hip pain. Their spa-like atmosphere and positive culture makes every visit enjoyable. And their personalized care really works. If you're looking to feel and move better, visit 100% Chiropractic in Rockaway, New Jersey. Today, we are going to talk about the role of leadership in modern society. And I don't think there's anybody is more perfect to speak about it than you, Javon. I know that you are somebody who is an entrepreneur and also a leader on and off the field, spiritually and career-wise. So what do you think? What does it take to be a really good leader these days?
I mean, first and foremost, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's crazy.
Happy New Year, everybody.
I wasn't here. Actually, I was here. Yeah, 2024. We're in 2025. So
I know, quick.
shout out to that, leading well. But yeah, to answer that question, I would think number one, leadership is it's to be a great leader, especially today in like modern times, is you have to go to the original purpose of leadership, which is servanthood. I believe that the only real impactful leadership is being a servant leader. Because in order for me to lead well, right, number one, there has to be people following me, right? But number two, am I leading in a way where it's impactful enough that it can be duplicated and then lives can actually be changed through that, right? For like the better good. So when it comes to leadership, number one, know where exactly you are going, right? So a leader has vision, a leader has that purpose, but he is also willing to die for that, right? And people have to feel that if I take that faith and follow you, are you willing to die on what you're teaching me, right? And if that's not the case, then we're all being led to this unknown world or like this unknown place that you yourself have not gone. And that right there, I feel like we have, over the last like 7 years, I would say, we have lived in a generation where leaders have started things, right? Podcasts, social media influence, and all this type of stuff with no experience and no backing. And so many people follow because they just like what they see. But we don't know the fruit of that person, right? We can't go into your life or like other people, like you don't have 20 people that you can put on the list and say, just ask them about me, right? It's more, hey, just see what I'm doing. And if you like it, subscribe. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the leadership has shifted. But the definition of it from its original standpoint is always servitude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. It's the most effective. It's proven. Servant leadership, positive leadership in the workforce culturally motivates teams to do better and want to do better. And it's leading by example.
Yeah.
Too. I think the toughest part as a leader is building trust. Building trust in the very beginning is the first step. That's the base of the pyramid. Yeah. How do you build trust?
I mean, building trust, number one, you have to know, and this is great for anybody that's in leadership and striving to do it, is number one, you're not called to everybody. That's a big thing,
I had to
right?
learn that.
Everybody is not your audience. Everybody is not your follower. Everybody is not your sheep. Stop trying to save everyone, because your voice is for a specific people. And once you understand that, which is going back to the vision and the purpose of it, if my vision and purpose is to call those who are like homeless on the street, why are you trying to have the same message for somebody? Well, put it like this. Why are you trying to get affirmation or like approval from somebody that's not in what you're called to? You get what I'm saying? And so many people, when they're first starting out and leading something, or like they have a product or something like that, they immediately start to think that this is for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Hey, I've dealt with some challenges in the beginning too, because if like no one may never have the passion that I do for the purpose and how it was formed, because it was formed a certain way. So making sure you meet people where they're at and not trying to, fit a square peg in a circle hole, because it's tough to not expect everybody else to have that same passion and want the same goal. But everybody is different. Some people just may want a paycheck and do their thing. So meeting people where they're at, having an understanding of various personality types too, I think is really important. And if somebody is being negative within the culture, maybe more of an understanding of that person. So you could, here's what you're not doing. Here's a correction program we'll put you on, things like that. Okay. But I think it's better as a leader to get an understanding of the reasons why that person's acting the way they are. There might be something that they're going through in their personal life. There might be an issue with communication, or they might be embarrassed about something. But if you open up and you build that trust in the beginning, they're more likely, and if you're truthful and transparent about things and they see that, they're more likely to, because that relationship was built, be honest with you. So you can personally get to the bottom of the issue more than just a correction plan. Here you go, cookie cutter process.
See, and that's the beauty of I would even say being a spirit-filled led leader, because the things that happen, like I'm just speak for me having the Holy Spirit, right? That everybody cannot be led the same way, right? You can have your blueprints, you can have your things for this wide variety of people that you're called to, but individually speaking, right? When it comes to that one-on-one now, and somebody may be given, some pushback, even though like you see, this can help them, they may need an extra focus, like you, to focus on this specific area as far as breakthrough, to get them to see the clarity of where they're called to. So having that spirit, like understanding that, because they were made in the image and likeness of God, the Spirit has helped me in so many ways when it comes to him being that person that's like, no, you need to speak about this. Ask them about their father, right? I know you're talking about business. I know you're talking about the Bible, but ask them about their relationship with their father. Ask them about their relationship. Like, how is the marriage going? Like, far as like, if this is going, what is your intimacy level with your wife right now? Because this may be hindering you from going to that breakthrough. So it's like you have to be spirit-led and hearing, even though they're saying certain, do you hear the cry in the sentence that they're going through? And that's a spirit-filled thing. Like, and not everybody can do that if you are not spiritually mature in that level, right? So I think that's what makes a great leader as well is, what is your spirit like? Is that healthy enough?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, okay, when what you was just saying, Javon, when people are saying, when you ask those people those questions and they start to explain this, that, and third, that's where you have to read between the lines, so to speak, and really listen. Are they crying out for help? Are they asking for help? Obviously they are, but is a certain type of mindset or mentality that you have to have in order to see or understand that when that particular person is talking to you, that they are crying out. It has to be a certain mindset in order for you to catch that. in order for you to catch it, listen to what they're saying, and go from there.
I think that's a good point. It gets tough because we could be so transactional sometimes, and there's a goal or a project it's working on it, but taking a pause, showing that empathy is really important. And I'm guilty of it sometimes too, just getting caught up in sometimes you got to take a pause, but building that trust and that rapport up front through transparency, honesty, and communication too is so key. Like managers shoot themselves in the foot so bad because they're like, say you have a job, your manager comes up or whoever, the leader, the owner of the company, we're going to do this, and that. This is how it's going to be. And then it doesn't get done.
Yeah.
Or we have to take away this and there's no explanation why. In the back end, there's so much probably gossip and festering in the dark. Communication would shine light on that. All I could, if I say something, hey, we have to take this away or cut back on this. Here's the reason why. Here's the reason why it ties into our business. Here's how it's going to, unless it was proprietary financial or anything like that. I think communicating more and having more dialogue around the exact reason why will prevent assumptions, because where communication lacks, doubt and assumptions fill in.
Yeah. Man, listen, communication is everything. And it's going back to what I said, like when you're hearing somebody's spirit calling out versus what they're saying, those are two different ways of communication, right? If you're hearing something else while somebody is still talking, then that means that in your spirit, you're picking up what they're saying, even though they're physically saying something, but they're saying something else in the spirit. So it's communication is not just vocal. You get what I'm saying? Communication is also feeling. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, if I enter a room and I feel a certain way, like if I go outside that door and I felt a certain way, then I came in here and now my feelings shifted, then that means that this is the spirit of the room. Based off the spirit of the room, I now have to lead or teach in a different way, where if it's something evil, if it's something bad, I now have to break that. But if it's something that is calm, like there's peaceful atmospheres, right?
See how important it is for a environment that reflects the spirit and is calm and is collaborative.
Yeah.
It's so important. And I think that is a lot of leadership, whether it be politically or like anything like that, that is missing. And anything that through our interactions, Heather was just published. That was a great episode, getting some more information on homeless people. A big problem is a gap in transportation in order to get to an appointment. And it's happening quite a bit. And how's there no money for that? But anyway, I'm going off. My point is that I think that the opposite is the lack of those type of environments.
See, I don't even think you were going off, because everything. So just like John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership.
Yeah.
So if everything rises, meaning in the good times, leadership, in the bad times, leadership, everything is leadership. Somebody is leading in a way. Somebody's in the boardroom saying, you know what, let's save this money over there, because they don't need it as much as this needs it. Somebody made that decision. The money can't speak for itself, right? So there's somebody sitting here at a table that's like, you know what, they're not that important, or we'll give some, but let's focus on this. So somebody's leading in that area. And if that leadership produces a certain thing where now we see the fruits of your decision, right, in this homeless problem, then that means that, okay, it's either we're going to reevaluate the leadership, right? Or it's like we're just going to kick it out and then bring in new leadership. So everything rises and falls on that. And when you look at that, like leadership is so important because it does set the atmosphere and the tone of everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether it's the house, whether it's society, whether it's the church, whether it's the school, political realms, everything that the leader does sets the tone for everything.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I think when it comes to that, we really have to understand that, like, when we have weak leadership, it affects everything.
I know. Yeah,
and when we have strong leadership, you feel it, right? I'm not trying to make this a political episode, But actually it is, because everything political is definitely leadership to the highest rank. So when we see, like, even when like Trump first got in office, how, he brought out ICE, right? And they just went rampant. It was just like, hold up. We went from a police force that was dying to literally in 1 week, it's like, man, they out here hunting. Now, how did you go from a dead police force to now it's like, yo, the boys is out.
Right.
Somebody said it's time. And we don't care about nothing else.
Right.
That's the difference between the strong leadership and like the weak leadership. Let's just let the crime happen. It is what it is. No, we're not letting crime happen, because that's going to affect the good people, right? So
And it's going to have a ripple effect.
exactly.
And
How much? Oh, sorry.
real quick, I just wanted to go back to the questions. Or was it you, Javon? We were saying about the questions of leadership. I got some written down here. Can you trust your leader? Does the leader care about their followers? You know what I'm saying? Can you help your followers? Depending on the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the questions that the followers would need from their leader. Those are things that they need to know from whoever they're following. Can I trust you? Do you really care about me because I'm following you? Do you really care that I'm following you? And can you help me?
So are you maybe asking a little bit more personal questions about that person's workflow? What will best work for you communication wise? What will best, like, instead of a cookie cutter system for a salesperson, like, what's your workflow? We can customize it around there as long as the certain data is captured. Do you mean that? Or are you just saying that that's what somebody's going to be looking out for or afraid of, like not trusting a leader?
Is not, I wouldn't say they would be afraid of it, but it would definitely be curiosity and always, if it's not put out there on Front Street about how the leader communicates and go about teaching their followers and go about,
So basically having an understanding, telling them your leadership style, which is a really good thought and idea. So when employees come in, having that transparent of, this is who I am, this is kind of my style, how I lead, that kind of stuff. On the flip side too, I think people that are working for a company, that whatever position they're in, that have a leader that's in a position, I think it's also important to kind of understand, and not, because people can really be a little bit cold sometimes and just, I'm leaving because this is falling apart.
Yeah.
Them having an understanding or putting the shoes on as a leader a little bit, or what it takes. Because sometimes you just get busy, or I get busy, I can't communicate something over, but somebody might be festering because of that and upset that I didn't follow up. So yeah, I think that if any employee has an idea or gets trained on leadership, it's not a bad thing, because that will only provide a better understanding for them to the leader. And if you have something like that with the leader, be it a very good communicator, I think that's something that'd be great. Just being like, hey, and also if you have something where you are festering and you're upset, an environment where it could be brought up and there could be arguments per se, but productive ones, not productive disagreements. Because the problem is, a lot of times we're walking on eggshells. Nobody wants to, somebody might have a great idea, but then I got to talk to this person, or I'm not in a position to implement that. But if you're passionate enough and you put together something that's personal and comes from the inside out. I had done a presentation because I saw something in the market. Long story short, when I worked for Hydrothermal, I noticed that the manufacturing company, they had a certain view of reps that was a little off. So I just decided, I said, I went in the CEO's office, Jim, and just requested to do a presentation to the team about reps and like ways to develop relationships and maybe manage them a little bit differently. And it went really well. So the point is everybody has something unique. Visualize it and do it professionally instead of going in there and asking. Put it in a presentation, put visuals around it, because your unique angle probably would help something. And if anything, it'll make you look good that you went outside the box. But if we're sitting and doing the minimal work, or you have an idea and you don't really do it, and then you're complaining, it's your fault.
It's like it's when I think about other people not understanding, like let's just say we had employees not understanding leadership, right? So we got employees not understanding their boss or like their manager, whatever the case may be. It's when you don't understand those who are leading you, it begs me to ask the question, are you even leading in your own life? Now, I believe everybody is leading, whether it's bad or good, right? you are your first leader. Like you have to lead yourself first, whether that's intentionally or unintentional. Everybody's a leader, all right? That development process comes by a choice and a decision, all right? If you want to be developed as a good leader. But by and large, it's if you don't understand your leader's shoes, are you truly like leading at home, or are you just allowing everything to just fall where the chips may, right? Because
Being more reactive.
yeah,
Like,
Are you just playing leader, or are you actually
or like,
a
are you
leader?
just being a follower all your life? Because if you are a husband, if you are a mother, if you are a father, if you are this, that, and the third, you understand leadership. So ultimately, even if I never led a company, but I led myself well, like I'm disciplined in how I eat, I'm disciplined on my workouts, I'm disciplined in what I listen to. If I'm leading myself well, and then I see other people leading other people well, I don't even have to ask the question. I already know.
I think what you brought up was like the main key and the very first step to be a successful leader is to have that self-discipline. You know, for me, when I'm off, it's because of that type of stuff. Me not spiritually feeding myself. Maybe I'm off on scripture.
Yeah.
Me off my morning routine and working out. I was just joking around, eating about too many cookies lately and not, going for walks, whatever. Little things like that.
Yeah.
That really is what it is. And a lot of business processes, some of them, that's what they'll say. It starts with you as a leader. You're the first, your legacy starts and ends with you.
Yeah.
So for me, it could either go as far as it can or not. And it's really due to the choices that I make, who I put myself. We were talking just right before this about like doing and putting yourself in a position to be successful. If you're at home playing video games or whatever, but if you're at a cafe where you could potentially talk to somebody, you're just in a position where you could receive an opportunity. So it's putting yourselves in those positions too.
Yeah. And it's going from even doing to being, right? This man, what is his name? I forgot his name, but anyway, it's gonna come back to me. It's he got it from the context of the unbiblical context of Genesis, where it goes from be, do, have. First you become, then you do, then you'll have. Right? So it's going from this state. Instead of you saying, man, I really need to read more. So I'm just gonna add an hour of just reading because I need to do that more. The being person that's like, no, I want this to be in my DNA would say, I'm just going to become a reader. Not I need to read more. No, I'm just going to become a reader. Versus somebody that's like, man, maybe I need to work out more. Yeah, maybe that's the doing person. I need to work out more. No, you just need to live a life of fitness.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Dr. Matt was, when he was on, talking about fitness as a skill. It's that perception, right? Instead of being like, oh, I'm going to run a half hour, I'm going to measure everything, reps, Yeah. No, build the foundation. It's technique.
Boom.
It's
a switch.
It's
a lifestyle.
I'll tell you, that actually hit me right now. I needed that. I needed that.
Because it's the most beautiful thing that even in leading yourself, you're still selfless.
Yeah.
Basically what I mean by this is that the reason why I'm building my body up and the reason I'm building my mind up, it's for me, but it's really not. It would be selfish of me to say this is only for my benefit, right? God didn't make men strong so that they can go into the mirror and just be like, I got muscles. He made them strong because there's something out there that you need to use that strength for. And it's outside of yourself. So anytime you start to look at yourself and you're like, man, I'm just this, I'm that, and if nobody's being influenced, if nobody's being changed or transformed by what you have done, then that means that you're doing it for the wrong reasons. The whole purpose of me to build my body and my mind up is, I'm just speaking the family context. I have to be hard to kill for my family. So if somebody sees me in the midst of my children and my wife and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to attack that one. Let me go to this one because he looks weaker. That right there, I'm building myself up so that I can be an asset and not a liability in my family and in society. So when you see a bunch of weakness around, you have a bunch of people that are selfish.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
The victim mentality starts to branch out.
Yeah, because it ties into, you become selfish when you say, and we've all been guilty of it. I'm like halfway guilty of it right now, right? Where you're like, man, like, I just don't feel like going to the gym right now. It's snowing. It's like, and it's like, okay, well, if something was to happen, it's going to be because you're feeling. So because you didn't feel like building your body up or your mind, guess what? You're not going to feel like protecting when the time comes, because you don't rise to the level of your expectations. You rise to the level, or you react to the level of your training. You know what I'm saying? Nobody hopes that they're going to do something when something happens. Yeah. It's your training that kicks in. That's like, man, I've been training 5 years for this one moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
People don't prepare.
That split, that instinct kicks in when you already know that, knowing when the situation happens, like you said, it automatically kicks in. It, like, you don't have to think about it. It's just there.
I feel like now with the foundation and this past like year and a half, right? Such an expediting learning curve. I know a little bit, I touched upon it in the phone without going into too many details, but when NCK, like a year and a half ago, there was a couple process mistakes and it affected cash flow, which we're still dealing with. And so behind the scenes, that's another thing, you know, like no matter what on paper somebody sees websites or how clean and perfect the company looks, behind the scenes, you have to have an understanding that there's just a bunch of challenges, and it's working through those challenges. And it's about building a foundation to be able to go through this. Cause now nobody prepares. Everybody's receiving information. They're not protected. Something goes wrong. Somebody gets sick in their family. They fall and crumble apart. Wow. So it's a cycle of, I feel good, everything's going well. And it's dictated by the outside world. It's dictated by emotions that are not really them. And when it's intentional and it's proactive, you can create your own life and you can take the bull by the horns too.
And I think that's what makes a great leader. So the great leader versus the bad leader is that the great leader says, feelings is not the reason why I do. The bad leader is, well, I just didn't feel like it. And you're basing everything off of your feelings, which your feelings will always lead you. Yeah. I would say about 97%. Because sometimes the feeling is like, man, like you may be really injured or health-wise, like, man, I physically just can't do it. Take that rest day, bro. Like, don't even exert your energy in that way. Right. Outside of that, it's like your feelings are true, but are they right for this moment? So it's like you're giving in to something that does not benefit the goal. It does not benefit you. It does not benefit the people that are around you, such and such, right? And that's why it is one of my greatest leaders is Jesus, right? And his leadership style was so beautiful.
Yeah, it's where everything comes from,
bro.
Yeah,
he didn't approach. Think about this: when he picked his 12, he didn't talk about their sin. He just said, "Follow me." Now, if you follow Jesus's training style, which I think everybody should, right? He disciples them for a couple of years, then leaves them, right? Now, there's so much in that, But the first thing he says is follow me, which means I'm not going to say anything. I'm just follow what I do. And look at, like, if you're reading the 4 Gospels, look how many questions they had.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept answering them. But he kept leading, though. And then he sent them out. Then he kept leading. Then he sent them out. And then one day, it got to the point where he had a last message where he was saying, he was basically preparing them for his departure.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm not going to be here. Like, how don't you know this yet? Like, I'm not going to always be here. And it's in that a leader also has to know and, first of all, be confident in what he has taught, right?
Yeah.
And then be confident and trust your teaching and your leadership to let them go.
Yeah, I'm not
You know what
gonna
I'm
lie.
saying?
Like a little bit in the beginning, there was when I first started becoming and owned the company and started to lead, and with the foundation, there was like a little bit of insecurity about me, like telling people what to do and stuff like that. Like I felt like, or I wanted to be nice. You know, I didn't want to crack the whip too much. I wanted to be honest, and I also feel like I made a bit of a mistake where, for me, I had good mentors, but I felt like there were things that I'd want to hear from them that I didn't hear, that I thought. So I gave I think a little bit too much info up, or I should have maybe guided a little bit more to have the team member figure it out on their own. But I gave like everything. I gave all the keys from but my intention was to almost like a father figure, fill in the gaps of what I did wrong. And hear the thing. So like nobody really gave me the full information to their game or the game. So I wanted to do that. But then I learned like, all right, maybe I shouldn't do that. And I got to go plant seeds on the back end slowly and meet somebody where they're at and not try to force them. Because man, when the spirit hit a year and a half ago with Daryl, I was like, right? I was crazy. I was like I was a little bit too abrupt on due dates, things like that, because I just, not that I thought it was an insult that people wouldn't want to do like me. It's very interesting, and it's tough to be in a position like that when you have a purpose, you're fully in sync with God.
Yeah.
You know, that makes everything totally tougher because I know I have to see this thing through because I can't face God. We could save lives. But when I get in my way or Satan comes in, then it's so much more discouraging and it feels like forever.
Yeah.
But it's like literally, we haven't done the show a little less than a month. It was like a lifetime.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's
So
amazing
much
how you
that
can
happened.
step into another realm
Yeah.
while you're on earth as a human being. And you could change your paradigm too.
Yep. And that's what a lot of people need, is that paradigm shift. Like there's a shift in their paradigm that needs to happen basically in their day-to-day life. Like it has to be an interruption into an ongoing force, right? So if something is moving like this, something has to interrupt it, right? So it's once you have that pattern interrupt in somebody's life that is just like, you're just going all over the place, bro. Like you're going to need somebody to come in and shift your whole atmosphere. Like
that's what a good leader does.
And bro, it's what I believe that the world needs. Anytime we see ourselves going the opposite way, there should be a remnant of people that interrupt it. Like, bro, if you keep doing this, this is what's going to happen. And if you don't listen to that, do not be shocked when there's a revolt coming.
Oh no, there will be. Oh, there
you know what I'm
is.
saying?
There is.
Yeah, don't be shocked.
100%.
Don't be shocked.
It's
It
gonna
will
happen.
come out of the woodwork. The haters hate. Like that is just.
It happens
It's
every
the
time,
way,
bro.
But it's just the way where it was designed.
It happens.
People thought. I mean, when this first happened, my mom, because I've had bipolar, manic episodes and stuff like that, and there were family members that legit were worried and thought I was going crazy because I was so passionate. I knew it when that hit. I knew, and they were worried about me. I had my brother and a friend of mine come to the house and everything. I had a whole thing. Man. Kristen had to sleep at her mom's one night. But at the end of the day, it was such, like I had mentioned, that expedited learning through burns. And another thing, it's not going to come without courage, and there's going to be fear and uncomfortable, and you're going to be uncomfortable too. But courage is not that. It's not that you're not afraid. It's that you do it anyway. It's that you move forward even though you don't want to, or through the fear. That's true courage. That's true courage. And
Yeah.
people let that fear just overwhelm them. But just one thing little will be less the next time. And then again, and then again,
Man.
and then again. Next thing you know, you're this strong mofo walking around.
Dude, you gotta use the word. Man, who has said it? I forgot. But anyway, the quote is the opposite of courage is not cowardness, it is conformity. And that
I've
quote
heard that.
always stuck with
I've
me.
heard that.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I literally believe
Say that one more time.
the opposite of courage is not cowardness, it is conformity.
Yeah.
We're living in that right now where it's not that people are scared, it's not that people are this, they're comfortable.
Yeah. I know.
So when you get so comfortable that you don't do, bro, it is like a disease, a silent killer.
Yeah.
It's like a cancer that just hits everything, where people who are comfortable, they just allow everything to happen. And now you have that passivity that is just in the DNA of society.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, no, we can't be passive on this.
No.
Well, it is no. And now when a person comes up and disrupts that, right, which is really another leader coming in, like, we can't even allow this to even have a thought.
But that's what I think the point is to disrupt your life, your surroundings, your if
That's
we're
true.
and I think there's some science around that, like more so that the world isn't coming to us, it's from us. We're like projection screens almost. We're projecting the world out, our brains and stuff. So it is us. It really is. It can be.
Yeah. And it's dude, leadership in this modern context, bro, we are lacking it now. But
there's a big price for
see a rise, though.
for comfort. There's
You said
a
a
big
big
price if you
for
live
comfort.
your whole life in comfort in the end, isn't there? Do you wish you could just like let people have an understanding for real? If you could go like that,
of what?
touching Mark's shoulder, like anybody, just transfer it over. And how serious and detrimental it is if you're chilling out, not contributing to society, just receiving, your health is crappy, everything. You are in for a rude awakening. It's going to last a long time, maybe forever. And it's crazy that it's not that hard once you get going.
What, far as
like the
like
momentum
leading?
and finding a purpose. Like when you get that momentum, you can get into it, and you'll have a setback. You have to expect that.
Yeah.
What are some of the things or techniques that you do when you have a setback? Like when you get in a rut or anything like that, do you try to get back on? Do you have anything that you do personally or in your leadership style?
Far as like that keeps me on track. Like if I have a setback, what keeps me going?
When you have a setback, is there any techniques you use or like anything that you do?
My vice is prayer, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm immediately going to prayer because there's something that God knows that I don't, and I have to trust that, right? So if I believe that God does not change, but my attitude towards Him does, I can't even for a second allow my flesh and my carnality to get in the DNA of everything of how my thought process is. So basically what I mean is if something happens and now it's a setback, I can't even give room for any negative thought or anything to enter. I immediately got to go and pray on that thing. You know what I'm saying? Seek wise counsel in that area. Get around some people that been through some setbacks, right? Which is a lot of great leaders. Be around them and see how they attack that in their lifestyle. So you're asking a great question, because what it does is, well, put it like this. Proverbs 18:1 says that isolation is basically the worst thing that anybody can do.
Next,
it is a selfish thing.
It's
right.
By now it's released.
What?
Lissa, we did one on. We recorded an episode recently on isolation. By now it's out. Yeah,
it is
so
the
true.
worst. Like it'll kill you from the inside out. And you think that in your mind, which is a different spirit, in your mind you think if I pull back, I'm actually doing other people good because I don't want them to feel what I'm going through. And it's like, bro,
so common.
that is a lie from the enemy. So it's like, for me, I'm in prayer. I'm listening to wise counsel. Now here's the thing about the leadership in me is that, and this is what a lot of people don't want to hear, but you got to lead while you bleed a lot of times. Leaders do not stop because they got cut. Because
that's
they
hard.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. Like when you hit a wall or mood wise or like start to burn out a bit, it's that those are the moments that make that if you go, I have faith in this, even though I feel this way, I'm just going to push it right here. Or I'm going to
Yeah.
do one more, that 1%.
One more
You know
rep.
what? I wasn't going to do any push-ups. I didn't go to the gym. I'll just do 2. Even though it's just something,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or 1.
It's something.
Something.
You gotta do, because
I
the
know. So
moment you
change your-
don't do,
But Tony
man.
Robbins always with the state too. Like first thing, you're feeling down, you're low. How's your posture? Where's your head? Is it looking down?
Yeah.
Are you hydrated? Would you have to eat that day? You know what I mean? Like your mood ties
Yeah.
into multiple things. But if you're not self-aware,
Yeah.
the whole world and everything around it and every
Dude.
energy
Crumbles.
being is going to just use you as their
Dude,
footstool, and they're just gonna do anything.
man.
And the guys at the top that are reaping the benefits of all your tax money, all your everything, they're just sitting there like they don't even know who they are.
Yeah. It's a huge thing, man. I honestly think because people don't have that perspective, because I believe everybody gets setbacks.
Oh, of course.
It's just a part of being human. But if there's no wise counsel on it, I feel like it just leads to so many problems that we have today, whether that's depression, right? Whether that's leading to a different type of addiction. Addiction is in a wide variety at this point, right? So it's going to lead to so much other things if you don't have something or someone. Literally, like who you're listening to plays a huge part. And a lot of times for the people that are out there, when you're going through a setback, and it's crucial. I mean, there's a transition in your life that has shifted everything. A lot of times you cannot listen to yourself. Yourself could be the reason why you're staying in that rut. And you have to literally change your influence, right? Because if you yourself is laying out, here go right there. If you yourself is laying out the facts, and I think it's another spirit as well, is laying out the facts that, man, you weren't that good. This didn't work out. Here you go. Those are the facts. But the facts do not make up what it is that you're called to. So if you know in your heart of heart that I'm supposed to do this, but the facts are saying one thing, are you truly going to lead in that way where it's like, man, I don't care what I see in front of me. And this where it comes the difference between sight versus vision. My sight is I can see that door. I know it's real. I can see it with my natural eye. The vision goes beyond that. Is I can literally close my eyes and see everything that I'm called to. I can create this picture in my mind that I'm like, man, like I know what God gave me. I know what I'm supposed to do. Like I see it. Your open eye will never see that. It is your vision that allows you to see beyond what the natural can see. So that is what you listen to. That is
there
what
a
you
way
see
to
that.
get into a state of being in
What,
sync
being?
with both? Like the physical, like being, because like sometimes I feel like anxious because I'm not getting to the vision fast enough. Not so much I'm fully cool with alternate paths. Like I realize that challenges are going to come. It may take longer than I originally anticipated, or we'll move it around.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to that, I don't know.
I mean, I'm
Like,
bro, I'm in it right now.
Yeah.
There is
just so much.
You have to literally, like, when I'm telling you, you have to dive into. So if you know that you're called to this, right? You're like, no, I'm supposed to be. That means you literally are supposed to become obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Because your reality is not there yet. You get what I'm saying? So
Got that
because
down.
your reality is not there, you now have to go to where that reality is normal.
Yeah, it's
get
a
what I'm
very
saying?
strange middle position to be in
Yeah.
when you haven't hit it, because
Yep.
it's like that mid growth.
Mhm.
But like my friend and colleague Slavik, who Sky Llamas podcast. You guys need a quality podcast.
Come on
Toto in
now.
New Jersey, Sky Llamas. It's where we film the studio
Yeah,
there.
tap in.
You know, somebody like him who has such, you know, I like to surround myself with creative, motivated people. So that's another thing that's really important as a leader. Like you mentioned before, like who you talk to, who you, I don't know if you said surrounded with, but surrounding yourself with people who will motivate you and not be negative all the time. You know, things like that is completely important. Like we're all the 5 people we hang ourselves around the most. So what I'm saying, like somebody like him or anybody surrounding myself with people that want to
Yeah.
or have that vision, you could relate to somebody like that too, that has that passion and purpose, because not everybody does these days, especially now.
They don't.
But you
Yeah.
could really get set aside though if you do.
I'm one of them, honestly. I don't have that surrounding. I don't have that group support. I don't have that circle.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of you,
Mhm.
outside of Javon and anybody else that we connect with and have on the podcast. Outside of any of that, I don't have that.
Yeah.
And I'm not making it about me. I'm speaking in general in terms of I may look how I look to people while I'm sitting here on the podcast, but honestly, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
As we speak and topics that we talked about, I do see myself and find myself dealing with a lot of different things within those topics, but in different ways.
Yeah. One thing that's good with you, and I know that through the times and the years, we'll expand on it, is your perspective is really great on the show. So there's an understanding too, and having the community come on here on where to fill in particular gaps. So that right there, somebody needs like a life coach, or somebody needs somebody that could really be a friend. And to do that, nobody systematically, it's a mess, because nobody should be put in that position to have to do that. And with Heather going to or not having transportation and them declining something because of an application or a meeting, and they don't have money to go there. That's wrong.
Heather and Jose.
Sorry. Yeah. Something like that. I think it's really important. And also we talk about leadership. Anybody could be a leader. You could right now be working at Target, doing whatever, and you could become a leader and start a nonprofit.
Come on.
At $300, you go on LegalZoom, you can do the paperwork yourself, whatever, file it. You could get a website, not expensive. You could have something unique that gives back to the community, and you can make a difference. So everybody has it in them and the ability to be a really good leader. It's just a matter of pulling the trigger and doing it.
And this is why.
And if everybody did that, the community would grow. Everybody would be contributing something.
It's the fruits of it.
Yeah.
It only comes from the people. It comes from us. It's not going to come from, unless we have really, really great leadership until Jesus comes back. Like something like that. It's like,
but like that's the beauty of the written word. Is like I'm gonna just speak for me, and then Mark, you can do this. I'm gonna just say this real quick to respond back to what you said. I remember being in that place where I couldn't find anybody. Like it was just like, bro, I can't find nobody that's thinking the way that I'm thinking, that has what it is that I have.
Yeah.
I literally had to create me, right? I had to be the person I was trying to find. And from that, years later, I think I'm now getting to the point where it's like, I see some, I'm like, yes, that is who I will gladly follow right there.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I had to literally become. And that process was such a beautiful process, because now that I went through that season of I have to become the leader that I do not see, right? I now get to lead people in an area where they like, man, I'm so glad that I got you. But not knowing that there was no me for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
The core reasons why this is happening on our end is because of, for me, I was humble, trying to be humble, admit mistakes.
Yeah.
And ask for help, and really do that. And even if it's a stupid questions, I've asked some things for some people, but a lot of the times, because people want to help and it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
They're not really, nobody was ever rude to me. I've asked stupid questions that I thought could be stupid in a meeting, and then it ended up like opening up dialogue and so many different things. And they were stupid questions, but it sparks something. And there might be one person there that has a similar thought, but what it does is it sparks an energy in the room that gives other people the confidence to ask questions, because after you, other people will start to ask questions too. And then you start bouncing up, and it's so fun, right? When you get into collaborative energy and you sit down in a room and you're right. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's the arena.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
100%. 100%. Because it's literally, dude, when it comes to being that leader, like number one, like understanding Like leadership is hard. Like it's not something that's supposed to be comfortable. It's not something that like you can find glimpse of happiness in it, but that's not the focal point of leadership. Leadership is literally selfless servitude.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, that's literally all it is. And you're constantly in a war. And this is why is you need a spiritual peace to go with it. Otherwise, you just become something like if you really pursue every bit of feeling that you have when you're on the road of like leadership, and you don't have that wise counsel, you don't have, that holiness with you, bro, you will turn into something that you did not know even existed.
So that's my gap.
Mhm.
That's my gap, because right now I don't have anybody immediate in my personal life, like immediate family
Yeah.
or friends that have an understanding that I'm literally in war like every day. And when
It's a war,
you
bro.
can't, when I like with Kristen or like anybody else, like
Yeah.
when I can't verbalize that
Come on.
or describe that, it's difficult. It's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough when somebody's sitting, near you and they don't get that, or at least have that feeling or understanding, because there are levels. And a lot of the same type of people are the ones that are gonna complain that, or say you got lucky and do all that kind of stuff.
There's this saying that I love as well. Is everybody hates the warrior until the enemy is at the gate.
There you go.
And
It's
now everybody
example right now.
There you go. Everybody's gonna see.
Right now in the
But when it
world.
comes to that, they're not supposed to get what you get. They're not supposed to see what you see.
But also, you're going against the grain.
Exactly.
People don't like when you go against the grain. That's not what we want.
It's not comfortable.
No.
This is go ahead, Mark.
When you go against the grain, that's when everything get sketchy and itchy and all the above.
But I hit a point where I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, and I'm building up the skills to be able to do it. And I want to go all in too. I'm going legacy, Javon.
Oh man,
we're going legacy, man. One day, mark my words, we're gonna be sitting there with a large audience. Just make sure you're cool with people recognizing you. I'm just kidding.
I don't care, bro.
It's a fine line too, because I don't want to be cocky or anything. And I don't feel like I am. I don't really feel like I'm being a jerk about it, because I really genuinely mean it.
It's
a
birthing. Well, not a birthing, but it's a pregnancy season that you're in. It's just not 9 months. That pregnancy season.
How old's my baby?
Just
sitting there 3 months.
There you go, bro. But it's like I can comfort my wife when she was going through, right? I got 2 children, so I know this all too well. There's nothing I can do that will make her know that I understand. Nothing. She's carrying a human being, right? She's in a battle right now, right? Nobody understands except the mothers. Right. But while she's going through, she's going to feel like not even mothers understand. Like this is my
so personal.
war. Yeah. Like this is, I'm with this 24/7. Right. So it's like when you're going through that, it's not a season that, like, my wife is not looking for approval. She's not looking for validation. She's not looking for anything. This is my baby. I don't care what you got to say. I'm keeping this, whatever the case may be. It's the same way with you. When it comes to that, like, other people they're not supposed to, you're not carrying what I'm carrying.
I've learned that. It took me some time. But I've fully embodied that. I haven't understood, all right, this is coming from God. This is coming for me. Not everybody's going to get it. And I've learned, it took some trial and error through that, but I'm fine with it now.
Yeah.
I realize that I think everybody's going to be fully understood. You're something different to everybody else, So you might be a son to somebody, a father. We play roles. It's all we're doing our lives. We're like in a divine play.
And it's unto death. Like it's the thing that separates, man. I love scripture so much, man. It said that Jesus was obedient unto the point of death. Now, how many people can say, this is my purpose of coming here, and this is the only thing that I'm doing until I die? That's not too many people. But for the people who did do that, we notice them. We have a day for them. We recognize them. We honor them because they did it unto death, even when people basically was killing them and persecuting them.
Yeah.
So we remember those people, and we're living in the fruits of their labor, right? But it's the people that quit along the way. It's the people that criticize that they don't get noticed.
Do you think that
you know what I'm saying?
teachings of Jesus teaches how to get into the pain, how to get ready for it.
Yeah, because Christianity starts with suffering. Christianity is not a story.
And isn't it
of
interesting that
that.
human beings tend to just avoid suffering or not talk about it or disregard it, but it's the most important
I
key
feel like
component.
America
And that's
does
that.
where we skip the teachings of suffering. Man, that's how powerful it is. When Jesus was telling his disciples, he said, I no longer call you servants, because everything that the Father has given to me, I have given to you. Everything he said to me, I gave it to you. He said, I now call you friends. Meaning friendship with the Lord means that you now have access to an unlimited love and knowledge that comes directly from heaven. But with that, with friendship comes a responsibility. Now watch this. As soon as he talked about friendship, immediately after that, he talks about persecution.
Right.
Now watch how powerful that is. With the friendship comes, they will kill you for the sake of my name. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you.
Yeah.
And this is why he says there's no greater love than one to lay down his life for his friend. The most beautiful leadership point ever.
It is.
I'm going to lay my life down for you. That is the ultimate standard.
If you were getting hit by a car and I just went and pushed you out of the way and took the car, that's the ultimate love and sacrifice.
That's leadership.
Yeah.
Is that I came here to die so that you can get something.
Yeah. I mean, regardless, is somebody that's it's a phenomenal, can't deny story that could branch off into every facet of life, whether it is leadership or anything like that. And the reason why, like, I think that we're discussing it too, is that, or for me at least, the people that I didn't know were Christians that I've looked up to, is they embed the principles on the back end indirectly. You know, so if it's not directly a Christian thing or, you know, a Muslim thing, sometimes it's inadvertently put in the principles in the back end, but they're all positive. And you can't, there's more persecution once you do. Like there's more us doing something like this, right? It's tougher. It's that like you have to expect that, but it's so much more fulfilling than chilling out, ordering DoorDash, and going to a 9 to 5, and then at the end being like, what was that?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
I mean, going back to leadership, my thing is, I was looking at the questions that I've written down, and it's like, okay, a good leader. What does a good leader enjoy about, whether it be him or herself, or what do you enjoy about what you're doing that you want people to follow? And, you know, once you get those people to follow, can those people trust you? Do you care about them?
Yeah, care. You have to love your employees. You have to care for them. Yeah.
Also, with the leadership, a good leader would find out what the problem is.
Problem solvers.
You know what I'm saying? What the problem is. What is
solution?
What is your solution?
Yeah.
But first, it starts off with a dream. What as a leader? What is your dream?
Yeah.
This is your dream.
But that's what
our
it
dream.
is, though. I think like the culture is so important. It's almost like my job, especially as we grow, will be to remind people what the mission is, motivate them, and then provide the skills. For me, the fruit comes to when we're going to cut the ribbon of the campus, or motivating somebody to them coming on the show, utilizing this platform to making them feel good about themselves or want to do better, or, you know, connect with somebody like that. To me, that's where the fruit comes, because there's an energy to that. That's how your spirit gets filled.
See,
and it's a natural energy. It's not drugs. It's not artificial. That's for real.
It's a fire.
The path is to the person, because when you connect and you're feeling that, and that's what we're being taken away from, and that's the key.
So
that's the key.
So the key word there is path. So it's how powerful this is. It doesn't take long for you to become what you want. It just takes a decision. Once you make
We're going to end it at that. When you can wrap up the comment around time, but yeah, no, it's a good one.
Oh yeah. All right, we got about 40 seconds.
It's
Literally,
okay.
literally, once you make that decision that you're immediately there, right? Because you are now in the same spirit and mindset of somebody who physically has it. Now the process is that instead of focusing on what I can get or like the end goal, right? You have to have the end goal is already in the decision that you decided.
Mhm.
The process is the most beautiful thing. That's the reward. The reward is never the goal. It's the who am I becoming in the middle.
And it's also kind of scary. It's terrifying too at the same time. It's
Oh,
such
man,
a
I
big
love it, bro.
responsibility because I got to the point where
jeez.
Javon, like, dude, they're
Touching on my subject now.
you know, but I look at it like,
do you become what you are in a good way, or do you become what you are in a bad way?
yeah, you create
The outcome and the final outcome of the process is what determined the whole.
Yeah.
See, but it's in that becoming that, watch this. This is why you'll have somebody who is far where you want to go. They're already there.
Yeah.
And they will
trying
look
to get into the friends there.
But watch how powerful the spirituality of it is. You could not be there, but the person that's there would be like, you got it.
But I feel like also me doing that benefits them. So whatever high level they're at, because they helped me or they're giving me certain skills, they're learning too, because you learn when you teach. They're spiritually, mentally, physically growing by helping. So it's such a win-win if you could connect with somebody that's a level that you want and you're humble enough and open enough to not being like, oh, I don't, I feel insecure. You're open to something like that. And I look at it like, with all this, I mean, it really is that serious. And I view it that seriously. I mean, I try to like balance it out, but I look at it like it's a must. I have to do it to save generations of my family because, Javon, they're taking away generational wealth. Over and over again, it's being taken away. I look at, maybe my certain family members or that may not make a decent amount. Right now, we're definitely in no position to like pass on to, you know what I mean? So like, I feel like there's a lane. We have a realistic lane. God is with it. I'm going legacy because we have to. Because if we could leave a legacy, build a campus that could be replicated, have enough finances, because it's an economic paradigm, that's just where we're at. It's a good versus evil economic. In order to make true change and to do things, you just need money. It's just a fact. Right now, it's where we're at.
Man, there's so much I can say.
I know, because you're I was thinking health-wise.
It could come
health-wise. I know. I don't want to stop. We'll
this
go a couple
conversation
more
could
minutes.
go another
But,
hour or
you
two.
You could go. Like if you have money, you can get a personal trainer.
Yeah.
If you have money, you can do so. Whoever says like money, I mean, by happiness is like so played out, but doesn't matter. Probably has enough to at least be comfortable when I look at people's house. Because, then if you can't afford it, you're going to be buying cheap food and stuff like that. And the money adds, these guys that are the best, or these women, they have the ability to go to the best healthcare. They have the ability to go to the best gyms. They, personal trainers, they delegate. Even though you see them everywhere, it's because they hire their best people. They do all that. That's where we want to be.
Yeah.
That's where I want to get to, because when I'm doing personal care and I'm in that mode and serving,
but that's the leading self first.
Wave just is the best.
Bro.
I'm always trying to get back on it.
Shut my mouth.
I know. We could go all day, Javon, and I really appreciate it. This was a good one, and the importance of true leadership nowadays is more than ever. And just we really appreciate you. Last year was amazing. You coming on. We had some really awesome episodes. So really appreciate you coming on in the future. We want you as a returning guest as long as you're willing to. Obviously, you have an open seat.
Always.
I know. We'll figure out what we'll talk about next time.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate Javon. Have a great rest of the day or evening. Take care. Thank you.
Till next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Ride the Wave. It's been a pleasure having you with us as we explore ways to make a positive impact together. Remember, every little wave creates a ripple of change. We appreciate any support you can provide as we plan to build an all-inclusive, modern campus and empower communities. For details on how you can contribute, through various platforms, please visit us at ridethewave.org. Until next time, keep riding the wave of change with us. I'm Jeff Fisher, signing off, but the journey continues.